Hey, what's up, Pete? This is DC Stewart from the DC Stewart Show Podcast, along with my kinfolk Isaah and Najee. Najee's not with us tonight, but he will be back with us on Monday, and we got our special guest, Eddie, again. Man, Eddie is beginning to be a part of what we're doing here, so I'm so happy to see Eddie. We'll go ahead and bring him in a little bit. We hope everybody is doing well. It is a Saturday, December 13th. We're about 2 weeks out from Christmas. I hope everybody's getting their Christmas shopping done, getting everything taken care of, because I know a lot of gifts got to be given this holiday season, especially for bigger families. So we want everybody to be safe when you're out shopping. Keep yourself in good spirits and good health, and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to us, because right now we're kicking and we're doing a lot of good things for topics, and we're going to bring you a super solid show tonight. We got a lot of hard topics to hit on, and I got the right people here with me to hit on them, right? I mean, we have the Heisman candidate to talk about, the winner tonight, and we'll discuss that. We're going to discuss Sherrone Moore's firing, head coach of Michigan, or ex-head coach of Michigan, Sherrone Moore. We're going to talk about his firing, and he was in jail, but, I was reading today that he posted bail, so we'll kind of keep you abreast of that. And we're going to be talking about some boxing, and we're going to bring in some more NFL news, because, man, it's just great being in America. It's great being able to be a part of sports, and I love sports, and I know Isaah loves sports, and Eddie loves sports. So, man, we're kicking into full cylinders tonight. We welcome all of our guests right now. Freebird Tony is supposed to join us if he's not already on. And, I just want to make sure that we give everybody some props tonight. We want everybody's participation. Feel free to comment in the comment chat section tonight, because we're always open to hearing other people's perspectives on things. So we're going to unpack, and we're going to bring in Isaah, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, look at that hat, man. Look at that hat. I don't know what to say. I'm still trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up on this thing. So
I told you a long time ago.
Yeah, you told me you were going to hand it to me tonight, and I see what you're talking about for sure. Yeah.
You don't believe it, man. Even when we were kids, man, you didn't believe nothing, man. When everybody was talking about Santa Claus, you were like, oh, hell no, there ain't no Santa Claus.
There ain't no Santa Claus. I never seen him come down the chimney.
Yeah, because you were sneaky, man. You wouldn't go to sleep. That 12 o'clock hour where everybody was supposed to be sleep waiting on their gift, you was always peeking out the window when I passed by the house. You
got that right. I wanted to know what was in those boxes,
Sleep, man. Hey, Eddie, man, when we were kids, DC would get up before everybody riding this brand new bicycle down, even if it was too big for him, man. Because his parents,
I was a tiny little runt riding this big, huge bike. Yeah.
He had one of those tall Schwinn.
I had a Schwinn back then. When Schwinns were popular, I had a Schwinn. 12-speed.
The damn feet could barely hit the pedals, man. And the seat was adjusted all the way far so it can go down. Yeah, man, this is a beautiful weekend, man. We got the Heisman Trophy candidate in the winner. And also, some bowl games are being played today. But, man, it's amazing to have this part of the season with Christmas and the holidays and New Year's coming up. We just got done with Thanksgiving. I gained probably 7 pounds out of that 15, 16 that I lost, but I'm going to get it back off. Not worry. I'm going to just glide into Christmas, because I know some pies and cakes and all that stuff, and some extra added stuff going to come down the pike. So New Year's, I'm going to be right back at it. Doing this here, running. Man, I'm doing it.
Yeah. But you still look good in your rags, man. That's all I got to say. I mean, you still kicking it down, right?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I'm working out, man, and it's good, man. It makes me sleep better and everything else, man. I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
You got that right. You got that right for sure. So, Eddie, what is really going on? I see you got your University of Miami hat on, and we're really, really excited about what's getting ready to happen next Saturday. So tell us a little bit about your day today. Tell us about your weekend, because we're in the Saturday night. For East Coast, it's late. For West Coast right now, we're looking at early nighttime. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with you, man.
It's been a beautiful week, like Isaiah mentioned, coming off the Thanksgiving weekend and all the sports thing, all the sports that's been happening the last 2 weeks. With the whole CFP, the World Cup draw, and now this week with the whole shenanigan of Michigan head coach, the bowl season getting started today. And I want to say that I want to congratulate the Heisman Trophy winner, Miami native. And the scoreboard is Miami 1 and the rest of the nation 0, because he put Miami once again on the map, right?
Yes, he did.
He said it. Yeah, it's nice to hear him say and call out the 305.
Yeah.
And it's no secret that we are the darling of the football rich history down here. We also, I want to remind you guys that we lost a legend this week at University of in Miami, and George Myra passed away.
George Myra Sr., man. We definitely lost a really, really solid family member for University of Miami. Yeah. I know his son, George Myra Jr., he played for University of Miami, and we send our warmest condolences to the Myra family, George Myra Jr. and their whole entire family, because, with George Myra Sr. passing on, it's really devastating, I know, for their family. So we send our warmest heart and warmest wishes for you and your family.
That's right. So, and personally, well, can't complain. Got beautiful weather down here, and just looking forward to our Christmas and holidays coming up. So, all is well over here, and hope you guys are doing well as well. And thank you for having me on once again.
Hey, man, we're so happy to have you on, because we know you know football, and we know you know University of Miami football, and we know you know your sports. So we always want, a person like you to be rolling along with us, because we got solid a foundation with you being aboard with us. And we look forward to the future as well. So.
Absolutely. Same here.
So, my weekend went really well today. I actually had a pretty good weekend. Last week was a little bit bumpy for me, but this weekend, everything went well. I was able to get a lot done today. And I'm just very happy to be healthy, because health is everything. I mean, if I don't have my health, I don't have nothing. And I know that for a fact from 2005 when I was in the hospital for a week, and I was just laying there trying to figure out, am I going to go home? And that's the key. We worry about all of these worldly things, about, worldly possessions and expensive things, expensive cars, expensive clothes, but those things don't mean anything if you don't have your health, because you're not going to be able to enjoy them. So you got to think about things like that and what's most important in your life, because we want people to be happy. We want people to be loved, respected, and bring some positivity to society as a collective, because that's what this thing should be all about. And that's what makes the United States great. It's still the best country in the planet, as far as I'm concerned. I've been a lot of other places. So we'll get into some of the topics. Like I say, we're going to talk a little bit about Terence Crawford. He lost his belt on something trivial. We'll get into that. Like I said before, we congratulate Fernando Mendoza, and why don't we give Fernando Mendoza a round of applause, man? Because he's a Miami guy. He's a 305 guy. And you know what? Fernando Mendoza he's a part of our family. That's how we look at that, And that's the key.
He's a classy guy, though, man.
And he's a classy guy, and his family's classy. Fernando Sr. and all of them are very classy. And we like people like that, because they contribute to society, and nothing better could have happened to this young man than tonight. With him going to the same high school that his father went to and played football, and him winning the Heisman being history, because he's the first Indiana football player to ever win the Heisman. So we congratulate that. We know he's a part of history. He's etched in now, and he well deserved it. I mean, his team is undefeated, and Isaah, like you said, that was the best decision he ever made, was to go into that portal and get out of Cal, because Cal is not doing well right now. They just fired the coach. And
If you listen to his speech, DC, man, that speech was amazing. And he gave everybody props, man, of that journey of getting where he is. And so that's what I love about guys like that who always can look back and kind of spill out that journey because people don't realize how the road it takes to get to be successful.
It's hard work.
It's hard work. It's just
Yeah.
part of it, DC. There's so many other elements has to come together to get there, man. You got to have the right connections. You got to make the right decisions. You got to work out. You got to be smart. It's just so many things that you have to do to get there because I'm thinking last year, if he would have stayed that year at Cal, he wouldn't be in this position.
No, he wouldn't be a Heisman.
And
I don't know. He
him
might have been
jumping ship.
mentioned, but I don't think he would have been a Heisman
he
candidate
wouldn't
as
have
high
been
as he
mentioned,
is
DC.
now.
No,
DC,
not
like you
listen,
mentioned
man.
that.
You don't get to see a team that's on the downslope get a Heisman Trophy candidate out of it, man. And they're in shambles over there. So he wouldn't have even been mentioned. That Jeremiah Love or one of those guys like that would have got that trophy.
Yeah, and it's been
Exactly.
quarterback centric for so long now. The Heisman
Yeah.
Trophy has been quarterback centric for the last 20 years, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I haven't seen any running backs like it used to be back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Running backs were dominating the Heisman.
Yeah.
Every year, a running back
Yeah.
won the Heisman Trophy or was really close to winning it. But now it's like so quarterback centric. Now it's really hard for running backs to kind of compete in it, So
It's actually a quarterback and game now because you got some good savvy receivers that can catch the ball. It's going to elevate that quarterback. So that's what it's all about now. And the running backs are just guys who's setting it up for the quarterback to throw the ball downfield to make him look better. So
absolutely,
that's what
amen.
this game is actually come now. Yeah.
Absolutely, amen, man. So
DC, as you mentioned, that we live in the best country in the world, and it's such a beautiful thing because this guy, Mendoza, is a blue-collar guy who was not highly recruited, went to Cal, got very little offers. He transferred to Indiana, a non-football school, and to win the Heisman, the way that he's accomplished this year, not only him, and as he mentioned in the speech, which his speech is unbelievable, giving thanks to his brother as his number one backing, and I love the line that he mentioned of the trophy may have his name, but he mentioned to all his teammates, "This is our trophy," and that's what a leader does. He has
absolutely.
that guy's a proper CEO, and that's what the quarterback always is for any football team. The quarterback is your CEO. He is the face of your team, and he's the spirit of your team. And it's going to be fun to watch Indiana playing this CFP. Looking forward to watching this kid because it's hard to root against him.
Yeah, so am I.
And I'm rooting for him. We're rooting for him on this show, and we hope he would come on to this show one day because I know he's going to be a high draft pick at the first round for sure. So I mean, I'm so happy for him, and I'm so happy for his family. I don't know what to say. And like I said again, it's hard work, and everything that he did was hard work and effort, and he never gave up, and he was confident in himself that once he got into that portal, he made the right decision to go to the right team, and he paired up with Kirk Cignetti, the coach of the year. I mean, so they winning all kind of awards at Indiana because Indiana's a basketball school for most people who don't know that. Indiana's always been known as a basketball program, dominant in basketball more so than football, even though they've had some NFL players come out of there,
He's the second Hispanic American to win the Heisman after Jim Plunkett.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is a huge accomplishment.
Exactly. Another accomplishment, another achievement.
It was 50 years ago.
Yes. He represents Hispanic culture very, very positive, man. And that's what it needs. Just society in itself needs a positive cultural, makeover, I think, in a lot of ways in this country. So we'll get to some of the other topics. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Phillip Rivers at 44 years old coming back to the NFL. I don't know who called him back. I assume the Indianapolis Colts decided to call him. We're going to try to dig in and find out what made him so special from all other quarterbacks that are retired. We're happy to try to, debate that. We want to debate Ryan Clark, too. Ryan Clark is an ESPN analyst. The brother played football at Pittsburgh. He played at LSU, so I've always been a fan of his. Some of the big hits he used to have when he played at the Steelers. To me, he's an upstanding guy. I like Ryan Clark a lot, but, he made some controversial comments. He got a lot of people kind of rubbed the wrong way, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Kyle Whittingham, who's the coach at Utah, deciding to retire after 21 years, 21 solid years. And Coach Whittingham, I used to see him on flights coming into L.A. and out of L.A. doing his recruiting trips. Real good guy, man. Ran a great program, ran a clean program, brought some top pros out of that program. So we'll talk a little bit about his career. And that's about it. So NCFP preview for next weekend. We're gonna break some of that down. So we got a lot to share with everybody. We got a lot to talk about, gents. We got a lot to talk about today. So let's kick this thing off and let's start out with Ryan Clark making a comment about Sherrone Moore. So Sherrone Moore, let me give you a little bit of context what happened to Sherrone Moore, who's the head coach or was the head coach of the University of Michigan. The brother had the world in his hands and he dropped it. He dropped the ball. I mean, you have that ball in your hands like this, and then all of a sudden his hands opened up and he dropped it. He made a horrible decision to get himself into a relationship with someone he had no business getting into a relationship with. He should have kept business separate from personal, and he didn't do that. And now he's suffering the major consequences because he lost everything. He lost his contract because he got fired for cause. He sat in jail for a couple of days because of an incident after he got fired. And we'll get into that a little bit too. But I want to kind of pick your brain, Isaah, and try to find out, because we talked about Sherrone Moore a few days ago. We had breaking news on him, and he looked pretty bad sitting in that jail cell, man, with that jumpsuit on. He did not look good. I know he doesn't feel good, but break down some of the things that you think that could have triggered him. Was it arrogance? Was it a little bit of arrogance and just overconfidence that he was never going to get caught? Or what was the details with Sherrone Moore when it comes to him and Ryan Clark? And we'll talk about Ryan Clark a little bit thereafter about his comments about Sherrone Moore.
He just got a tad of everything you just mentioned. Whenever you are a brand new head coach and you're young, you're in your 30s, and you run a huge program like this and you're winning, and he's beat some of the best. He knocked off Ohio State several times, and it wasn't like by mistake. He kicked their butt. And, he's got everything in the palm of his hand. And one thing about being an athlete, especially at an early age when it's almost like everything is not like given to you, but people praise you so much. And sometimes people have a tendency of letting that stuff go to their head where they can't be touched. And to some degree, he may have felt that, because when you see the heat of the moment and things start to go to the direction where you think is not right, but then since you got away with everything else because you was this superstar as a player and a coach, you think you can kind of wiggle your way out of everything, and then it kind of gets swept under the rug and people will help you out just because of the position that you hold. Mm-hmm. And that could have factored into this thing. But since it happened, I got a chance to analyze this thing from different perspectives. And what I've seen now is I know he really feels sorry for himself. And then to realize that you lost such a beautiful family, man. If you just see the pictures that they've been showing with his wife and his little young kids, and, that's devastating, man. And then to see a guy go from the highest of height to the point where you locked up in jail and you confined to this little small box. dude, that's devastating. It's humiliating. It's gonna be everything just running through his psyche to realize, man, uh, is a huge mistake. You lost your ultimate job. You losing your family. That's everything. Because that's what you grew up to inspire to be a great coach. That's the avenue and path that you took. You got there, and then to have a family, you got there. You have a loving, beautiful family. You made it, and then to squander all that away for something that's not going to last anyway because it was a booty call, and you just feel terrible because of it. There was no future in that relationship. It was just something that was going down, and you blew it all because of it. It's gotta be hurtful, man. It's gotta be devastating to him to have this moment go down like this, and then not to even recoup it because who's gonna hire him right now? I mean, and it's just all of these things have got to be playing in his head of how it all just trickled down to the gutter, and he's probably just like they suspected. It was like a move where he want to take himself out because you just
Yeah.
think about, damn, I blew it, and that could be going through his mind. Yeah,
Absolutely. You know, it kind of reminds me of Trading Places, 1983 movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was on Wall
Had
Street. He
everything
had
and blew it.
everything. And two guys made a bet. They says, I can promise and bet you. And they made the bet in the bathroom. They made a bet
Yeah.
and they said that they
Yeah,
can make a homeless
in the
guy,
clapper.
a bum, successful. He would become successful. And then the guy that was successful, they could make him into a criminal. I mean, literally, he would become a criminal, and it was called Trading Places. And that kind of what kind of goes through my mind with Sherrone Moore because, like you said, he worked his way up. He was tight ends coach at Central Michigan. He played for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, and he just had a charmed life. He had a charmed situation, and it's not going to be the same when he gets out and gets back into society because I know at some point he will. And Eddie, I want to ask you this. Tell me what do you think did he thought he could do because this was a convenience situation for him, I think. This was convenience. This woman more than likely was having dinner with him. This woman was doing everything. She was a personal assistant, I'm told, which is allegedly a personal assistant. So a personal assistant, they do anything you need them to do. They run errands for you. They basically
they'll join at the hip, DC.
They join at the hip. So when you have somebody like that, you spend more time with that personal assistant than you do with your family at home. Tell me, Eddie, how could he have separated that and kept that at a distance? Give me your take on that.
My take is I'm going to second what Isaah mentioned as well, that it's sad. First and foremost, it's a letdown for himself. You know, he obviously betrayed his own values because to get to the point where he's at and the position that he was at with the University of Michigan, which is an elite program, not only in college football, but in sports in general. And to be a minority representative for the community and to drop the ball the way he did, it's sad, right? But it also, my take is, I'm not going to comment on everything that's being reported because it's still under investigation. So we don't know all the facts, right? So we're judging, but we'll give our two takes. I believe that when you rise, the hardest thing is to stay up. It's harder to maintain success than it is to gain it. And for him, he should have disconnected from that mentality of maybe a player, right? When I say a player, not because of the actions, a player, an athlete, you have to disconnect yourself from certain ambiance, certain situations in life that can lead you to make a mistake that he made, right? You create lines. Sometimes you even stop talking to certain friends because those friends can influence you to make bad decisions, right?
That's
and
true.
if you don't have that willpower, if you don't have that discipline, it's easy to fall in that trap. And he did. His second year, second or third year as the head coach, he hires an attractive, good-looking woman because she is a good-looking woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, right there, I'm not saying that all good-looking women are going to tempt us to make a bad decision. But like you mentioned, they spend so much time together, they know so much of each other that you're playing with a double-edged sword. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a sad situation. My take is he made a bad judgment call, and I think he'll rebound just as he gained the trust from a school to lead the football program. He'll come back. I mean, look, we have Richard Sherman, a guy who's had multiple incidents with domestic violence, and he's still a face of sports. So if he could do it, I think that this coach can come back and once again correct his wrongdoings. So,
well, I'm going to go a little bit.
I sure hope you're right about that, Eddie, because I think he deserves an opportunity to come back. I really do, because I've seen more severe things happen like that with people of authority and leadership, much worse than what he's done. But and he's young, so I just really hope that he can rebound from this, because I can feel that he realized how bad it was for him, and to lose something of this magnitude. I think he would find a way to not let something like this embark in his life again, because no good law-abiding citizen want to be in that position that he's in right now, because he's totally on the other side of this thing, man. You're talking about a good, honorable guy who made a terrible decision, wind up in jail. I mean, it's not like he had a criminal record before. He probably never had a criminal record, probably never went to jail. So that's super. I mean, that's the ultimate, the feeling that he has to say, damn it, I'm locked up. and a criminal is used to that kind of environment, but a guy who's skating on the right path and now he's locked up, that gotta feel like, man, I can't make a mistake like this again.
We have to let the investigation take its toll.
Yeah, we should definitely investigation.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
We don't know if there's some substance abuse involved. There's a lot that can.
There's a lot of factors that could be involved that might come out later. I suspect this is my angle on it, that a lot of these universities, and probably the University of Michigan, is going to try to learn something from this, because they're doing a full-scale audit investigation on the athletic department, more so football than any other sports, but they're looking into all of their sports. And I think what's probably going to happen is a lot of universities may start to assign these coaches an administrative assistant. They don't going to let them choose their own administrative assistant. That might or might not happen, but it's kind of like when your wife hires the maid at the house, because she don't want no young maid in your house. If she got a young maid in your house, that means she can't go to the grocery store. She can't go nowhere, because you're going to be at home with the young maid. And that's scary for her. So that might be what may be happening with universities, especially with younger coaches. I mean, the older coaches are just as bad. Look at Bobby Petrino. He was an example at University of Arkansas. And, that was somewhat of a scandal because of what happened with that. So whether you old or young or whatever, the university is going to take that, responsibility like a wife does. Look, I'm gonna hire a middle-aged woman or an older woman, even though sometimes that don't help, because look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. That told the story with that.
When Eddie just mentioned the fact that he hope he, get an opportunity to bounce back, I thought about Bobby Petrino, because who would have ever suspect him getting back to the driver's seat to be a coach again after his scandal?
Well, Sherrone Moore don't have the type of connections that Bobby Petrino had. I mean, I don't think he has. I think he had a solid connection with Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh was the one that actually helped him get the job.
Correct.
But there's going to be some stepping stones for him.
Western Michigan, the dad of the Harbaugh's coach out there. So he does have good connections. So I don't.
Well, he has connections with Harbaugh for sure, and I think that Harbaugh might come in and might help him in the future if he could get back on track and get his life back in order. He might get that second chance with Harbaugh. I wouldn't be shocked to see it, right?
You recall Foster, forgot his first name, last name is Foster. He's currently the offensive line coach for the 49ers, and he got fired at the Miami Dolphins he's the coach that came out with the young girl, and there was some cocaine used in the background in the picture. And he went into rehab, and look, he's come back. And he's actually now preaching about what not to get into substance and what that leads you to. And he almost lost his family for having vices. So we have to let this run its course and see what are the facts. Yeah. And then after that, we can. I think we could be a little more, not judgmental, but we can have a little more of an opinion, a stronger opinion.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Right now, I'm cheering for him to come out, and for the young woman as well, because at the end of the day, she is a victim.
Yeah, she's a victim for sure.
Yeah.
Because he controlled everything. I mean, he could have created his own self-control zone, and he could have put up a barrier there that, look, we're close. We do all of this together, but I got a family at home. I got to go home. I got to go home to my wife, and I got to go home to my kids. And I love my wife, and I love my kids, and I ain't finna do nothing to jeopardize that. But obviously, he didn't think about those things, right?
Oh, exactly. And he gets fired from the position for having a relationship with a colleague. That's the reason he gets fired.
Yeah, and she's still working for the school, at least allegedly. They didn't do anything to her, which, it makes sense, I guess, that they didn't get her or reassign her anywhere right now. And this is just stuff that I read today, so it could be true, it might not be.
Sometimes when that's her subordinate, that they usually don't can the person underneath.
Yeah, they get rid of the person at the top.
You was her boss, and you should have known better, because they can be through a thing like she was intimidated by you, and you was her boss, and maybe she didn't, do what you needed her to do. She'll get fired anyway, so she did it. So they can always play that game anytime.
Yeah. So let's move on to this Ryan Clark thing, because Ryan Clark has created some controversy here, and I know one thing is Uncle Luke is not happy with him. I looked at this Instagram video of Uncle Luke yesterday, and see, one thing about Uncle Luke speaks his mind. He ain't gonna hold back. He gonna let you know that he gonna put you out there on blast if you say something off the cuff. And he felt like Ryan Clark said something off the cuff. So here's Ryan Clark, technically commenting on Sherrone Moore's situation. And quote, Ryan Clark believes all black coaches only have one chance, no matter how big or little the issue is. Sherrone Moore was the first African-American head coach at Michigan. Now there's a community of coaches who will be judged because of his action. I'm going to go with you first, Eddie, and then I'm going to come to you, Isaiah. Eddie, do you think that comment was appropriate for Ryan Clark to say that?
I don't think so. You can't judge everyone by one person. That in itself is just wrong. Because it's been proven that there's so many minority coaches that are phenomenal leaders and great men and great husbands and sons. I mean, no, I don't agree with that. I think he's completely off. He's completely off. That's the wrong statement.
Yeah.
You cannot generalize. That in itself, I think has a very negative tone, because
and that was the point Luke was making.
There's a guy in Pittsburgh that's the longest tenure right now in the NFL.
Yeah, Coach Tomlin.
Exactly. So you have him. You have in Tampa Bay another.
You have Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. Yeah.
And you can go on and on and on and on. So, no, I disagree.
I think he painted with a broad brush, which I think he prematurely painted a broad brush. And I see some points from Uncle Luke that said that, look, you don't go out and say stuff like that about African Americans because, like you just said, Eddie, you don't want to be broad brush painting people. There's other coaches that don't have anything to do with what Sherrone Moore had to do with, and these are African American coaches. And now Uncle Luke said that ESPN should suspend his butt. Now you believe they should suspend him, Isaiah, to get him to apologize for what he said?
Not suspend him. I don't think they need to go that far. I mean, they need to check him for saying stuff like that. Maybe make him apologize for it because that might be enough for him. But to suspend him, well, that could be a start for him to apologize. And if he continued to blabber stupid stuff like that, then they will go further later on. But I disagree with his comment. You know I do, because I see so many leaders. Just think about it, man. Eddie just started to name a lot of these coaches that's in leadership position that's African American. Just look at Tony Dungy, man. Tony Dungy, you know, he was a guy. He's a pioneer for black coaches.
That's right.
You know, and Lovie Smith and the rest of them. He had a whole slate of guys who, you know, under him, that's head coaches. And he didn't even coach with an iron fist either. He was just soft-spoken little tiny guy that looked like he never played a down of football.
That's right.
And Tony Dungy was a damn good football player.
Yeah, he played defensive back for the Steelers back in the day.
He looked like he never played a down. He's always talking about God. He's always talking about family. He's always trying to bring somebody together. He's always resolving problems for people. And he just don't. He's not that stern type of coach. He was this guy with finesse. He just finessed his way to the top in terms of getting into somebody's mind and getting them to go the right path. He didn't have to go in there and curse you out. I never heard him use profanity.
I never did either. I mean, he never raised his voice. I didn't hear him ever raise his voice.
Him raise his voice, DC. Never.
Isaiah.
And look at him right now. He's on one of the most prominent programs right now in the NFL, and he's doing a great job. And they rely on his expertise for so many different elements of football. And when you see, like, for instance, I can't even think. I almost said this guy's name. He was always in trouble. And Tony Dungy mentored him. Damn, I can't even think of his name. But he stayed in trouble. He bounced around. He played for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys gave him a last shot. DC, I think he's from Atlanta. What was this guy's name? But he was all over the place, man. And I can't even think of this guy's name.
What position did he play?
Always in trouble. Huh?
What position?
He was a DB. He was a stroke the hell out of you, too, man. And I can't even think of his name. He's got a little podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
But he bounced around from team to team. Oh, man. Pac-Man Jones, bro.
Adam Pac-Man Jones?
Yeah. Adam Pac-Man Jones was always into something. And Tony Dungy started mentoring this guy and got him going down the right path. And guess what? He played a long time in the NFL, and people didn't think he was going to last that long because of his
I didn't even think he was going to last from his upbringing in Atlanta, because I knew people who knew his family.
He could go to the club. I mean, they had more restrictions. He had to be on curfew and everything. Man.
He's a tiny little guy, too. He's not that big. When he was at West Virginia, he wasn't a super oversized DB, but he was smart. He knew how to make plays.
Hold his hand, because if somebody even looked at him wrong, he wanted to fight you.
Here's the point. Yeah, man. Here's a point that I think we're maybe going to be running into more often because of the younger generation that's coming up in the ranks. You know, there's got to be a line of authority. And what I mean by that is it starts with the parents.
And I mentioned that last night.
That line of there's a lot of parents nowadays, I want to be my son's or my kid's best friend.
Yep.
No, there's got to be a line of respect, and you don't cross that. You can have an open relationship, and I think that our parents don't know everything about us. Right? Because there's certain things that we keep from our parents because of respect. And in coaching, you're starting to see that in certain sports more than others, in which a lot of the players are uncoachable, right? And some of these coaches, I think the Dolphins is a perfect example of how you have a player's coach. When you hear that, that's trouble. That's trouble. So maybe this is what happened in Michigan. He tried to be the cool guy at the same time being the head coach. You can't be both.
Yeah.
You have to stand one. You have to stand and toe that line where you can be respected by your players. You can even be loved by your players, but you're not gonna let them get away with things that they have no business getting away with. That just doesn't make any sense. And if he did go down that road, that's a problem.
Nick Saban is a perfect example of being the polar opposite, the other side of the token.
Yep.
He'll pick you up, but he's gonna chew you up.
Yep.
Some call it tough love. Some other ones call it just being tough because they don't see the love behind it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan Clark kind of fell right into a dead zone. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's respected, but I see a lot of times, and I look at a lot of blogs and stuff, and on both sides of the spectrum, I think he catches it. He catches a lot of flack by some of the things that he say, and people's perception of him. I think he's great, but a lot of other people don't think that way. And me personally, I don't think it was appropriate at all to make this into a race card, because you're inviting things like this to come into play when you shouldn't. Look, he was a coach. Just say, look, he was a coach. He made a mistake, just like a bunch of other coaches did. Bobby Petrino, we can go down a list of them. And a lot of other ones. You don't have to bring that card into play, because all it does, it further isolates things. And Uncle Luke is the one that comes along and he'll straighten it out. He'll get it out there for you to let you know that you out of line, because he say he deal with black coaches all the time since he coaches at Edison. He's a head coach at Edison. He's been there for a long time, and he deals with a lot of black college coaches, and they're upstanding people. And they follow the rules, and they follow whatever guidelines that they need to follow. So I don't think it was appropriate at all.
Miami Edison, DC.
Miami Edison, Miami Edison. Thanks for correcting that, because there's a lot of Edisons in the country. So absolutely. So here's another thing, and we'll move on to the next topic. Is, do you think Sherrone Moore, once he recovers from this, you think he's going to stay at college level, Isaah, or do you think he's going to the NFL?
Well, I would suggest he go to the NFL and just leave the college stuff alone, because that's where he got in trouble. He won't have that type of he just won't have that younger person who's in the school like he would if he was in the NFL. I think he will have more of a role where he don't have that one-on-one with a woman like he's done now, and that authority figure over her as he would be in college. So I think he needs to step into the NFL and stay there for a while and get people used to seeing his face again. Once your face has been out there for a moment, it have a tendency of kind of smoothing this thing over. But if he just stay away, and then the moment, it's just like when Michael Vick had that little situation when he had the dog fighting. When he was gone for a while, people like stomach turned when he first came out. So you need to get on out there, and hopefully this thing will kind of succeed, because the longer he out and he's not doing anything, people are going to relive it when they see him. So he need to just go into the NFL, and I think that'll be the wise choice for him, and just go and continue his career, because he's a young guy. You don't want to waste no more time. Just go out there and continue your career in the NFL. Yeah, and I think some NFL coach will hire him, and maybe Harbaugh be the one that picks him up and let him, because he knows the guy's talented. There's no doubt about it. And he's a great coach. Yeah,
absolutely. So one last thing, and either one of you can answer this. What are the top 2 scandals in college football in the last 40 years? Would you guys know that right off the top?
I think the Penn State ordeal.
The last 40 years.
I think that Penn State I think the Penn State ordeal, when that, whatever the coach named Lazinski, whatever his name
Joe
was, when he
Paterno
was
and
taking
Jerry
those,
Sandusky. Well, Jerry Sandusky was the
taking
culprit. He
showers
was
in there
the
with those children.
yeah. He was the person that created all of that problem at Penn State. So
Yeah.
so you
I
would
think
say
that
Penn
was
State and Sherrone Moore's situation?
It's way worse than that, man. Because you talking about a guy who was in there with minors. He was out there butt stark naked with minors, man, and he ultimately went to jail behind it.
He's
See,
still
this
in
thing with
jail.
Shamar Moore is some consensual stuff. It just was inappropriate. But his was that right there was illegal. So hadn't Shamar Moore go over there allegedly with a knife or whatever the case may be, he won't be sitting in jail. He just would have gotten fired and went home that night. But Sandusky was in there bathing with kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it broke the whole house down. Even the former coach was, in trouble because he was trying to stash it and hide the situation, and a lot of folks knew about it. So I think the Penn State thing is worse,
Okay.
far worse.
I agree. Penn State. That's
That shook the whole college football world, and it brought Joe Pa completely down. He couldn't figure out how to stay in it, because before that he didn't want to leave, and he told him he wasn't going anywhere, and that brought him down to his knees.
He was already 128 years old.
So okay. Well, go ahead, Eddie.
That whole situation was disgusting with Penn State.
It was horrible.
I don't like to speak about it because it's just negative words come to mind. And Joe Pa, I'm lost. I've always been lost for words because there's nothing nice to be said about that situation. For however long that went on, that was just disgusting. And I think that more than one person should have been in jail, including Joe Pa. I may be wrong. There's a lot of that wasn't. It was one man taking action, but there was a lot. It took a lot to cover that up. So you can't compare. You can't compare the situations.
Well, Penn State's president, he bit the bullet with it too. He ended up catching heat, and he got let go, and Joe Pa got let go, and that program was in shambles for a long time.
That's a little slap
pressure.
They looked the other way, and they
died soon thereafter.
They looked the other way to protect the program.
True. Absolutely.
That's not right.
Absolutely.
It's a very sensitive.
True.
That was just the only word I can say is disgusting.
There you go. So let's move on to this next topic, and let's talk about Terence Bud Crawford. He's one of the best fighters in the history of the sport. I mean, he ended up beating Canelo Alvarez, which I didn't believe it was going to happen, but he did it, and he accomplished a lot of things in his life. However, it looks like he lost his belt on something of just kind of a situation where something got in the way of him paying his fees for the particular WBC, I believe it was. They didn't get the fees, and they stripped him of the belt. Let me ask you this, Eddie, what do you think about that? Who's responsible for paying his bills? Is he responsible for it? Does he have an accountant? Does he have somebody to take care of his bills? What do you think happened?
Well, the way it works is okay. So we have the big sanctioning bodies, the WBC, the IBF, the WBA. Those are the three big ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the only one in America. The WBA is at a Puerto Rican sanctioning fee. I'm not sure how much the other sanctioning bodies charge. In this case, the WBC was charging him $380,000. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You can keep on going.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so we have the sanctioning bodies that Bud was being charged $380,000 by the WBC. He refused to pay for it. So once you don't pay the sanctioning fee, the sanctioning body revoked the belt from him, and that's where he came out and made it public. He didn't disclose how much the other sanctioning bodies were charging him. He says that the amount was a fair amount, and he paid those sanctioning bodies, but he refused to pay WBC.
Why did he refuse to pay the WBC though? How can you even shape that? How can he come to grips with not paying them?
Very simple. He doesn't care for the belt. Obviously, he's saying that he's not going to fight at that weight class. We all know that he went up in weight to fight Canelo. Canelo is the cash cow, and it's the premium name in boxing. So he took the fight just for that, right? To dethrone, quote unquote, the biggest name. Well, he is the biggest name in boxing, but the pound for pound best fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Real boxing fans know that Crawford is a hell of a fighter, right? He doesn't get his they don't give him enough credit, and the man proved it that night. He pitched a shutout. He pitched a complete shutout. So when he refused to pay the sanctioning body, he calls out Canelo Alvarez and the sanctioning body. Why so? Because Canelo held the title for about 4 years, and he never gave the mandatory number one challenger a chance to fight for it.
Wow.
Correct. And the WBC never revoked him. So you don't revoke and you don't punish your champion for refusing to fight your number one contender. But once Bob Crawford wins the title and he refuses to pay for the sanctioning body, you go ahead and revoke it. So, I mean, what it tells you is that he's going to come back down to his natural weight. He gave more value to the ring belt, and he stated in the video he came out with. The only thing that I'm against is the way that he came about it. He was vulgar. I don't think he should have been vulgar. I think he should have been more diplomatic about it, and people would have sided with him more than against him. So that's my take on the action. Just on the reaction, the action, I'm for him. You know why?
So you're on his side then, technically.
I'm totally on his side. Absolutely. Because boxing nowadays, just today, there's a big fight coming up in January between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur. They're fighting in January. They're fighting in New York, and there's a champion 100 and 135 pounds, where Shakur Stevenson doesn't want to fight him because he says that's his brother. It shouldn't be like that. These fighters pick and choose who they fight. They're not fighting anymore the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The ranking. They're not looking at the ranking anymore, Eddie.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're not looking at any ranking anymore. They're picking and choosing. They're picking
and choosing who they're going to fight.
And it's because of money, right? I mean, you would say the contributor is purses, right? Wouldn't you say that?
Not the purses. The main reason why they're not fighting each other is because they're all represented by different promoters, and sometimes they're all represented by one single promoter, and they're not going to put their fighter up against each other. And in the old days they would, but not now. Not now. These guys, they pick and choose who they fight. So, Crawford, this guy has fought everyone. I mean, he's beaten some really good fighters, and he doesn't get credit for it. And look, he beat Canelo, and now this WBC thing, it gives him a black eye to him. But at the end, I think he's making the right call. You know, he's going to represent the three other sanctioning body. He's going to represent the ring belt, which is the number one belt. So for me, he's making the right call.
How about you, Isaah?
Well, to me, it just appeared that belt don't mean anything to him, man, because when you fight for a belt and you cherish it and you feel like this is what you strive and you work for your whole career, you don't want anybody to strip it on that note. You'd rather for somebody to beat you behind and take it. But to not pay something, that goes to show you he's standing firm on what he believes. And maybe Eddie is right where he's going to step down and go to another division where he can fight. And that's the only thing I can think of, man. Otherwise, how expensive are those fees? And it appeared that he deliberately did not pay them. So, of course, they're going to snatch that belt away from him.
No, he called him out. He's like, I'd give you $380,000 for what? So you can travel in first class, so you can eat in restaurants with your buddies, so you can stay in 5-star hotels. He called him out.
Wow.
You know? There it is. There it is.
He called him out. He's absolutely right.
Yep.
I mean, the sanctioning bodies, what they do, they work with the promoters and ranking the fighters, and that's their duty. That's it. That's in reality, that's their only duty.
Yeah, that's interesting. Boxing is so different now, and the times have changed so drastically for boxing, because I don't really even watch it anymore at any weight class. Because first of all, I'm not going to pay to watch it. I'm just not going to pay to see it, period. So I'm just not into it like I used to be when I was growing up, when we watched those fights on ABC Wide World of Sports with, Muhammad Ali and with Joe Frazier and with Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Those were the good old days for me.
That was regular TV too.
That was regular TV. You didn't have to pay to watch it, and now it's like it's a cash cow for a handful of people who own the cable networks or who run the cable networks. They control everything, and that's sad in a sport that's kind of like on the downturn as far as I see it. At every weight class, not just because the heavyweight class is a disaster. There's only a handful of people that I could say that I understand and I know that's heavyweights that.
I don't even know any heavyweight fighters anymore.
Well, I know Anthony Joshua and the kid out of Alabama, Deontay Wilder, and several others. He's technically a light heavyweight, but
I thought he was retired because I haven't seen him fight or heard him even fight in years.
Wilder's a heavyweight, and Anthony Joshua. I mean, that guy, to me, he was always a fraud.
You think so?
When the last time either one of those had a fight?
Listen, he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight the
Jake
YouTuber.
Paul.
What's his name?
He's gonna fight Jake Paul.
That ain't no damn fight. That's a damn merry-go-round. It's an exhibition. That's not a real fight.
No, that'll be a sanctioned fight. Anthony Joshua is gonna fight him technically in a sanctioned fight. It technically, supposedly, is gonna be Jake Paul's first professional fight against a professional fighter, not somebody just off the streets or somebody that's a celebrity.
Are they going to go all 12 rounds like they supposed to?
I don't know about that. I don't know all the details to that, but I'll follow up.
Make sure you read their contract, so some of them put in that contract you can't knock me out and stuff like that.
You look at John Ruiz, several other ones. I don't know very many other ones though, to tell you the truth.
No, BS. It's just a money grab, all of it.
Absolutely. All of it's a money grab.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic. I want to talk a little bit about Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, to me, was one of the best quarterbacks to play in the NFL during his tenure as a quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. And when they moved to L.A., they became the LA Chargers. Phillip Rivers, he bounced a little bit. He ended up, I believe, playing for several teams beyond the Chargers, but the Chargers was the place he spent a majority of his career. He came out of North Carolina State. He was very heralded out of North Carolina State. He lived up to all of the hype that I could see. Once he got a chance and Drew Brees got out of San Diego and ended up going to New Orleans, that gave Phillip Rivers his opportunity to be able to shine at that point. Now, Phillip Rivers is 44 years old. Looks like he retired 5 years ago plus a little bit. The Colts is going to start him tomorrow, and I need to ask you, Isaah, first and foremost, do you think the Colts contacted Phillip Rivers or Phillip Rivers showed interest in that spot because the Colts quarterbacks are hurt? And I'm just trying to find out what happened to Anthony out of Florida. What's his last name? The quarterback that they drafted really high. Anthony Richardson. What happened to Anthony Richardson? Is he still with the Colts or is he hurt? I'm just curious.
I don't know what's going on over there. The only thing I know is Phillip Rivers is like a little butterball now, man. He's been a couch potato for the last 5 years.
He's been a coach too. I think he coached several of his kids too in football.
He's doing that. I ain't gonna take that away from Ward. What I'm really saying is he's been out of football for 5 years. They was getting ready to put him in the Hall of Fame, man. Now, if he stepped back on that field, he's got to wait another 4 or 5 years. After he's retired. I don't know what he's thinking, man. But I tell you one thing, bro. Money will drive you every time. It will, because Cam Newton is chewing his fingernails off to get back out there, man. He was running away.
Why didn't they contact Cam Newton? Was that a good idea to contact him?
They should have, because he stays in shape, and Rivers looked like a little butterball, man. And the one thing I could only say that he's used to that playbook that he's going to be running. He played under that playbook, and he should know all the plays, so he should catch on. But that has nothing to do with his movement when he get out there.
Well, they're going to have to keep him clean in the pocket. That's a gimme.
I'm going to be watching that, man.
That's a gimme. Listen, for sure.
Man, when you out of football for 5 years, man, your movement going to be stiff as a board. And I cannot wait to watch this game tomorrow. I'm going to be glued to it because it's one thing for him to know the playbook, but it's another thing to produce that thing, man. It's going to be something else, DC. This ain't the same thing. Whenever you know the playbook, because, you read it, you know it, you played it before, but 5 years off?
That's a long time to be out. Especially for a guy.
Even his handoff going to be stiff.
I have 2 things to say. When I first heard this news this week, I checked the calendar to see if it was April 1st. That's the first one.
April Fool's Day.
And the second one is Isaah started training. I'm like, now all the old folks got motivated.
Yep. Yeah, man, it's just amazing, dude. I would rather, for real, I would rather see Cam Newton out there before him, man. It's just, he's much younger, man, and he's wanting to be back out there. He's waiting for a phone call like this.
So, Eddie, do you think he should have called? They should have called Cam Newton?
Nah, I don't think they should have called him. Neither one. You give a younger guy out there a chance.
Because Anthony Richardson is still on IR. I think he's still on injured reserve, and then Daniel Jones went down. So they technically don't have a quarterback that they think they can win with other than trying to get Phillip Rivers to come in there and help them, right?
If you were to think about this, Eddie, who are out there now that's probably on the sideline that can produce this thing for him? Who do you think that's out there off the top of your head?
I don't even know who's available, to be honest with you.
Well, I can read some options off for you guys. Here's one: Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady.
Every last one of them are blue tags, man. And Tom Brady is the one that's probably the youngest out of the whole damn bunch, and he's a blue tag. Come on, man.
Well, these are names of quarterbacks that definitely, I think that, most NFL franchises will feel comfortable possibly contacting to help their teams. That's just, these are just some of the names I read off based on some of the information that I sourced here. And I think Cam Newton would, me personally, I think Cam Newton would be a good choice based on his physical ability to be able to react more so than Phillip Rivers. But we're going to see what Phillip Rivers is going to do tomorrow. Either the Colts going to either come out looking real good on this or they're going to come out looking real bad on this. We'll see how it plays out for sure.
You see, I'm trying to remember the Dolphins. And Eddie, remember the Dolphins pulled this quarterback out of retirement and gave him $10 million.
You're talking about Jay Cutler. Yeah.
You remember that? It was the same situation, similar, man.
Yeah.
where they got
Well, that was an Adam Gase
$10 million.
special. That was an Adam Gase
It's the
special.
same thing.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing. DC.
That was one of them
and all
Adam
that
Gase
type of
specials.
stuff.
Look, we gonna bring Cutler
Yeah.
in, give him $10 million, and if it
Yeah.
don't work out, he still get his $10 million. That's how that worked out.
Break me off later, because I get you $10 million. You don't work out. Break me off later. Give me my potion.
Listen, there's look. The first organization that comes to mind that lost a quarterback at a peak time in the playoff run was the New York Giants when they lost Phil. What's his last name?
Sims?
When they lost Sims and the Hostetler came in and took them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hostetler ended up winning the
Yeah.
Super Bowl with him. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Then the second one that I recall, it's New England. Drew Bledsoe goes down and
Yeah.
this guy.
And then Tom Brady, a no-name at the time, coming out of Michigan, right?
Yeah, Tom,
Then you
yeah.
had
that happened in Dallas too. That happened.
It happened with Tony Romo at Dallas.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't go all the way. I'm talking about teams that actually replaced a superstar and went on to win Super Bowl and never gave up the starting quarterback.
That happened with the Miami Dolphins of '72 team, Eddie.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins.
When Reese went down.
The St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, when Kurt Warner took over.
Yeah, right.
Took over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mark Bulger ended up taking it over from Kurt Warner. It's because Kurt Warner, I think, was injured and he came back.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, but they didn't go all the way.
Right.
Yeah, but what about, didn't Aaron Rodgers came in after Favre?
He finally took over for Favre. I think it was 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, but he never came in because of any injury. They just gave him the reins and
He swapped out. Yeah.
They swapped. Yeah, I'm talking about a team losing their starting quarterback, replacing them, and then going all the way.
Yeah, that's
the Niners, bro. Eddie, what about your Niners?
What about my Niners?
Alex Smith goes down, and then Colin Kaepernick comes in, and he wins. He takes them to 2 Super Bowls. He didn't win any of them, but he took them to 2 Super Bowls.
One Super Bowl.
Oh, 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Super Bowl. Yeah. But no. I mean, to win Super Bowls, those are the only teams that I can think of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
wow.
Let's move on to Kyle Whittingham. Kyle Whittingham, head coach, or should I say, getting ready to retire head coach from University of Utah. Complete legend. I mean, I've seen the man in person. He grew up in Los Angeles, but he ended up inheriting Utah's program during a time when it was a transition period, because most people don't remember that Urban Meyer started out at Utah. Urban Meyer started coaching Utah. And I believe Kyle Whittingham was on his staff at some point in time. And I'll correct myself if I'm not, if it's not true, but I believe it is. And Kyle Whittingham took the program and he took it to the next level. And he's another coach where his players, I think personally he cared about his players. He recruited heavily in Los Angeles. He recruited heavily in California because this was, a right ground to recruit for that program. And they had a lot of really good players to come out of there. Alex Smith went to University of Utah. He graduated from there. Steve Smith Sr. went to University of Utah. So Utah never really got a lot of press, and Kyle Whittingham never really got the credit that was due to him, which I think he should have gotten. They ended up beating Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. I don't know whether anybody remember that, but Alabama could not do anything with them that night when they played University of Utah. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, with Alex Smith.
Yeah. They had Alex Smith and Alabama had Mark Ingram Jr., and I tell you what, Saban was throwing fits over on the sideline because they could not make adjustments to figure out what Utah was doing to him. He served 21 years. He's stepping down. He just thinks it's time. And it looks like he was one of the longest tenured head coaches in college because he got the job like in the mid-'90s, as a matter of fact. some of his comments were like, just the difference in college football when he started out and went during his time to now NIL transfer portal and all of those type of things. Stability is no longer rewarded. So I want to get your take, Eddie, and start it out is Whittingham has 177 wins, multiple Rose Bowl appearances, Sugar Bowl win versus Alabama, National Coach of the Year in 2008. In 2019, he built Utah into a respectable program nationally without any recruiting advantages, especially for elite players. And he didn't chase power. He built it. So what do you think about him, Eddie?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's an amazing job that he did, considering where he's at. And congratulations to him on all his accomplishment and for maintaining the stability of a consistent program.
Yeah. Yes.
That in itself, it's amazing. And the changes of time has caught up to him. The NIL is really pushing away a lot of good coaches because the future of college football, it's the unknown right now. We're based in college football is turning into somewhat of a minor league system for the NFL, and it's going to push a lot of good coaches like this man away because it's already a hard game to play among the big boys, and now you're going to throw cash on top of it. So, that's my take. My take is that it's the change of times. We saw it in basketball with the what was his name in Utah, the coach?
Jerry Sloan?
Jerry Sloan. Yeah, which he said it. He goes, look, I don't connect with today's players. So before he gets into any trouble or he can't lead this university and maintain what he's established, he'd rather walk away on his terms and let a young, fresh mind, someone that has the energy and has the mind to continue this with the NIL and all the new changes that college football is going through. So I applaud him for that. He's stepping down in a respectful way and also being respectful to his students. This is the opposite of what Isaah and us, we've been criticizing of that fellow from LSU. We're not going to mention his name, but this is the way you do it.
That's absolutely.
This is how a gentleman should do it, and a mentor, because that's what they are. So I applaud him. I applaud him for what he's doing.
Class personified. I mean,
exactly.
Leader, ultimate consummate leader. He had a player that was killed on his team. I don't know how many years ago that was, but he really loved this player, and they dedicated the whole season to this one player. The kid was out of Los Angeles, and somehow he got murdered or something of that sort, and that was a big deal for them. So let me move on to Utah is going to be one of the first athletics departments to be making history to partner with a private equity firm. What do you guys think about that?
Well, is enough money into this sport already when it comes to this. And I actually agree with these kids getting paid. I do agree with them getting paid. The jump ship from here and there that when they don't have that stability like Eddie just spoke about is one thing. But the fact that they can make a living doing this, because I've seen so many kids and all of them was not cut out to go to college and get a degree. It's something where I think some of these athletes can somehow get a trade while they're in college as well, as opposed to trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or something like that. And some of them not cut out for it. But if you can go out there and get a degree or a certification to be a plumber or carpenter or electrician or something like that afterwards, because you sometimes they don't get a degree once they leave. So if they can make a living while they're there, because think about something, DC and Eddie. If I had a huge NIL contract and I didn't graduate, but I was making $6-7 million like some of these elite players are making, and I love referred to Art Manning because he's been getting broke off even when he was starting. He had a fat bag. So I actually like that because if you got a kid can become rich while you're there, and who the hell thinks that maybe he's not going to make it in the NFL? But he made enough money in college where when he get out of school, that's $6-7 million. If he parlay that money right, he would never have to work again if he invests that money right, because he's not suitable for a job because he don't have a degree, but if he didn't even get a trade either. So, but if he got a good business partner, he go buy him a couple of franchises, he could take care of his family the same way he would have taken care of his family if he made it to the NFL. So it's a huge boost if you can get paid while you're in college, because ultimately these colleges are raking in the dough, billions and billions of dollars off of these kids. So they need to get pieces of it. That's a little small chunk of the pie for those kids to make while they're there. And all of them don't get it. Some of these linemen and on the offense and defense, they don't get that NIL money like that. So I think that the money in college is okay. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
So Eddie, here's a question I have for you. So, like I mentioned earlier, Utah is one of the first programs to partner with the private equity firm to pump, resources and money and revenue into that program, more so than just your typical NIL, the way it's laid out now. So it says they're the first to partner with the private equity firm Autro Capital for a massive cash infusion, creating a for-profit company, Utah Brands and Entertainment, to manage revenue streams like ticketing, sponsorships, NIL, offering a new model for athletic funding beyond traditional donors and boosters. You think that's the way that things are getting ready to start going, Eddie, with these private equity firms, with Wall Street getting involved in these programs?
I mean, they've been involved already. Here at the University of Miami, we're in partnership with, I'm saying the University of Miami is in partnership with a company that runs everything like you just mentioned. So I think it comes down to state laws. Every school in each state
It's under different laws and rules and regulations, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'll look into this, and maybe next week we'll talk about it a little more in depth. It goes down to that. Remember, we're just getting started with this NIL. We're just getting started. So there's a lot of kinks there that need to be ironed out. And in order for all of us to be in an equal playing field, because again, every school is in a different state. Every state has different regulations, both in the state and the federal. So I really don't have a lot of knowledge in what Utah's doing, but based on what you just mentioned, they're not really the first one, because University of Miami it has been already for the past 4 years and been in contract with an outside company that runs their ticketing, their marketing, basically their entire financial and everyday life of the athletic department.
No one of those tickets going to skyrocket, Eddie.
I'm sorry?
I said those tickets are skyrocket. Tickets are super expensive, man.
No, but the tickets go up because we don't have a home. We play at Hard Rock, but we're a tenant there. That's not our house. So we don't dictate. University of Miami does not dictate a lot of increase or whatever changes comes to that stadium. They just pay rent and they just play football games there and call it a home. But it's not a home. We don't have a stadium. So that's the case at University of Miami with the home stadium. And to go back to what you mentioned, Isaah, of the kids making money. Listen, I'm one of the things that before they used to get paid under the table. Now the money is on top of the table.
Yeah, right.
So it's just making it legal. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's there for the grab. I mean, the take. That's what I look at.
No millions of dollars, I tell you that.
DC, you're in the West Coast, and I'm sure you know about what Pete Carroll and those boys did in the early 2000s.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
yeah.
They were running. Technically, they were running a professional program over there when it came to the money part of it, right?
Yeah,
Eddie, you
and
throwing the rocks when Reggie Bush was over there, boy. They had it going on, right?
yeah, and even back in the '80s, late '80s and early '90s at University of Miami, you mentioned Luke earlier. Hey, there was a bag for the biggest hit. There was a bag for who scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
There was a bag
yeah,
for the longest run. So, this thing has been going on for a while,
Yes.
and you can't really pinpoint who's the first or who did it more or who did it less. They've all done it. So if you've all done it, you're all guilty. So the NIL basically what it's done is just giving it some legality to it, what before it wasn't legal. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I guess the best is yet to come.
That's for sure. And as we progress into the upcoming years, the years that are coming, I could see these private equity firms. I could see Wall Street completely controlling everything within these programs, especially a lot of these state schools, because these states are running low on cash. A lot of these states are always in the red, and they don't have budgetary resources to be able to fund some of this stuff, even though they have boosters and things like that. But I think it's going to be the biggest bag. The school can garner the biggest bag. It's going to be the school that pretty much lands all the talent.
High school too, guys. I think it'll trickle down to high schools too, because some of these stadiums and equipment and the stuff that these kids are having now, even in high school, that was never like that before.
Oh yeah, when we were playing, we had to play at stadiums in different parts of the city. We didn't have our own stadium. Every school I look at out here in California, you go to the backyard of the school, they got a turf field and everything, man. Stands, bleachers, just like some of them were just like college,
I remember some high schools sharing uniforms in the games.
Yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I remember also hand-downs. Next year's junior varsity was varsity's previous uniform.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so one last thing I need to ask you, Eddie, about the 49ers placing Brandon Ayuk on reserve left to team list. What does that mean? What's the terminology behind that?
He's not ready yet. Apparently that his injury has not healed completely. That's the reports. I keep hearing that Kyle just be frustrated because they keep asking him. And look, he said it. The decision that was reported 3 weeks ago was not a decision that was made now. It was a decision made back in May. It's just now it came out and became public. So it's not something new to the team. It's just something new to the public.
Absolutely. I got one last one for Isaah before we close this show out. So Bad Bunny is going to perform in the Super Bowl. Is he still on schedule to perform in the Super Bowl, Isaah?
Yeah, he's going to perform, man. I don't, I don't care about that. I want to see some diversified performances on there, man. This guy's got a huge following. It's going to just expand football for all of his followers. Going to start watching the NFL. I have absolutely no problem with the guy. Super talented, and he's not getting that following for nothing. He's been around for a long time. People just didn't know him. I've been knowing him for 10, 15 years, man, and he's a great, great performer and entertainer. Yeah.
How about you, Eddie?
Hey, football wants to go global, right? And they want to be international. I'm not a fan of his product. I'm not a fan of his product because it's not what I like. But I totally understand what the NFL is doing, and making the game international. To have a Spanish speaker performer, I'm not against it. They just remember always negative news it gets around quicker than not negative news.
Absolutely. I agree with you guys. I totally concur that, if they're going to be diverse and they're going to do that expansion on a diversity level, they need to continue on, even with Bad Bunny, once he performs. They need to just have a different diversified Super Bowl every year. I mean, to bring a bigger foundation of fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
it's gonna bring some
it's not
folks.
a secret
DC,
that we don't
that
have
money is huge, man.
Mexico would have had a Major League Baseball team and a football team. The only reason they don't have it is because there's not an insurance company that would insure the players. It's the only reason why.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that pretty much wraps everything up, man. We had a really solid show tonight. As always, we're on the up and up. We just keep going up and up and up and up and up. We love everything about it. We're going to do a TikTok live next. We're going to have a TikTok live. We have a big growing fan base over on TikTok. A lot of people want to see us a little bit more often over at TikTok. So we're going to give them what they, want, and we're going to provide the best of the best for them topic wise. So be looking forward to doing that. Our next stream is scheduled for Monday morning, and we're going to close that out. We came up with this thing where if you, the viewer, you want, we'll have a Q&A. If you want to have a Q&A, I think that will be very beneficial. That if you have any questions for us, it doesn't matter as long as it's, asking questions about the topics that we talked about and staying on point with that. That's what I think will be. So we're going to set that up, and we're going to have you do a Q&A, and feel free to reach out to us. It doesn't necessarily have to be right now. You can reach out to us after the show is over, and we'll address some of the questions that you might have. So I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out with Isaah.
Hey guys, listen, man, it was beautiful. Beautiful weekend. The weather is gorgeous. He claimed it was going to be 50 degrees, 40 degrees. That didn't happen, dog.
You told me it was raining down there, though, right? It was raining a couple of days ago, right?
It's raining now, but it wasn't raining. Yeah, it was raining a couple of days ago. It was beautiful today. This weekend was beautiful. They said it was going to rain tomorrow, and they said it's going to rain tonight, and it's actually raining tonight. But other than that, man, our weather is phenomenal. I enjoyed it. It was super hot today, man. Wearing shorts still, and the folks in New York are bundled up wearing boots and stuff, and we're relaxing. But anyway, you guys, I'm loving this show. I'm loving my partner in here, man. We've been doing a great job. Eddie's been doing a phenomenal job with us, helping us out, and we're going to have Najee back on Monday. But anyway, we mentioned this before. It's holiday season. You guys protect yourself. When you're going shopping, don't go putting all of these bags in the car and go back out there and let somebody see you loading your car up with gifts and stuff, and have someone going in and breaking your car and take all the stuff that you work your rear end off to buy for your loved ones. Be careful with all this stuff. Keep your eyes open. Love on your family and your relatives and your friends, and you guys have a pleasant holiday season. And New Year's coming up. We're going to enjoy these bowl games, and you guys have a prosperous New Year as well. So we're embarking on that. So you guys be careful. Again.
Absolutely. How about you, Eddie?
Well, I want to say thank you first and foremost to you guys for inviting me back and being part of this beautiful family you guys have created. It's nice to be a part of it. And to you, the listeners and followers, thank you for following these two great guys that they bring everything from the heart and truly want to make the best out of it. And to end it, I just, looking forward to this. My Niners coming back tomorrow after an off week. And then 5 days for the big rumble in Texas. Our Hurricanes against these Aggies. I want to walk in there and just smack him in the face and take the lunch and come back home and get ready for Ohio State, DC. I'm holding you. I hope you make it. You got your ticket. Isaah, I know that you have some family obligations, and that always comes first, especially during these holiday seasons. That it's the best time to spend it with family always. So you will be missed out there, Isaah. And thank you.
Oh, these guys summed everything up so eloquently. I tell you what, I'm kind of at a loss to say something after them. It's hard to come behind these two guys because these are two upstanding guys. They're so positive. They bring so much to the table when it comes to societal values and things of that sort. And I totally agree with Eddie. Eddie, I tell you what, if once that Ohio State game, once we advance to that one, I want you to stream live from that Ohio State game or thereafter. So we're definitely going to be looking forward to that. That would be something special, and we can do that possibly on TikTok to bring our fans some right up close and personal value from that game. Because I'm looking ahead to that game. I ain't worried about Texas A&M. So I'm going to be looking forward to the Ohio State game. Jeremiah Smith, if he gets a chance to play against kids that he played with in high school, that would be great. I mean, he went to Chaminade Madonna, I believe, the same place Malachi Tony went. So I'm pretty sure they know each other, and that would be interesting to see. Make sure you take care of your family. Make sure you take care of your mental health and your mental spirits. And please look out for those people around you. I mean, just reach out and help people. Do it naturally. You don't have to, go all out, but just do it naturally and help someone who is in need. And make sure you take care of your physical health as well. And we will be back with you in a day or two, Monday morning, to recap the whole sports weekend. We're going to be talking about what Phillip Rivers, how he performed tomorrow. So we'll be looking forward to that. And we got some other goodies coming up on Monday. So take care of yourself, and please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Take it easy. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take care.